a violent January 6er who had been sentenced to multiple years in prison prior to receiving a pardon from Donald Trump on his first day in office in his second term. He was running for Congress in Texas, uh, and his campaign has tragically come to an end. And he blamed his soon-to-be ex-wife and, quote, dirty Jews, close quote, for ruining his campaign. Ryan Taylor Nichols, 32, of Longview, Texas, who was running for Congress in Texas's first congressional district, was sentenced by U.S. District Judge Royce Lamberth to 63 months in prison and 36 months of supervised release. Judge Lamberth also ordered Nichols to pay a fine of $200,000, restitution in the amount of $2,000, and a special assessment of $200. Nichols pleaded guilty to obstruction of an official proceeding and assaulting, resisting, or impeding police officers he pled guilty on November 7th of last year. Both were felony offenses. Anyway, he was running for Congress, and that race has come to an end. So he posted some things on social media. He posted a video with some text, and the text included the following: dropping out of Texas congressional race, the real reasons exposed, exclamation point. Big announcement today. I am dropping out of the Texas Congress race. The accompanying video lays it all out. My soon-to-be wife, ex-wife, Bonnie Nichols, kicked me out of our home and business, sold assets, took all the money, and refuses to divorce me just to avoid giving me my share. Left me stranded after J6 prison with nothing. You were convicted of felonies that you pled guilty to. You expect your wife to hang around, dude? Politics turned out to be a dirty game. Jesus. Full of two-faced East Texas arm twisters and an unwinnable mess. Then there is my former campaign manager, Trish Fleming, from Salem Media in Houston, who infiltrated my campaign using Brad Parscale, using his name, and sabotaged everything with her sneaky moves. I'm done with the crooked system, starting over 100%, focusing on podcasting, social media content, and getting a job. Good for you, Ryan. Fuck the drama. It's time to rebuild. Grateful for the lessons, but moving on. In the accompanying video to this post, he said the following: I'm no longer running for Congress. So when I started this process of running for Congress, I was the owner of a multi-million-dollar business. I technically still am. I lived in $1 million home with my wife, soon-to-be ex-wife, and my 2 kids that I love dearly, who kept me alive, wanting to come home and see them every day. Nichols said that his wife had kicked him out of the home, took all the money from their shared business, quote, so because of that, I have to get a job. Now, furthermore, I've realized that Texas's first district is unwinnable. It's unwinnable, and the reason I say that AIPAC, those, I'm quoting him here, those dirty Jews have their hands gripped into everything, including our current congressman. The convicted rioter alleged that his former campaign manager, quote, was a federal agent or some type of federal asset or some type of AIPAC asset, some type of Jewish asset that was sent to entrap me. The former campaign manager who he was speaking about, her name is Trish Fleming, she responded by threatening to sue Ryan Nichols for defamation, libel, and slander. She wrote the following on Twitter: you just messed up really bad. You are a narcissistic psychopath and are one step from going back to prison, but this time you won't be blessed with a pardon. I have the receipts to destroy you in 5 seconds, not because I infiltrated your campaign, but because you are a freaking idiot. You didn't like someone telling you that you couldn't win, but guess what? You cannot win because you are insane. And scene. Ryan Nichols was a guy who made videos on January 6th marching down whatever it was, Pennsylvania Avenue or whatever the street they were marching down towards the Capitol building. And he said a lot of really incendiary things, like they were going to drag everybody in there out into the streets. He said a lot of really violent things. And he voluntarily pled guilty to physically assaulting police officers on that date. And he was sentenced to over 5 years in prison for that. So, you know, it's like when you hear Trump and Jeanine Pirro and Kash Patel and Pam Bondi talk about how they won't tolerate any violence of any kind towards police officers, they are not talking about white Republican men who support Donald Trump who beat the shit out of police officers on January 6, 2021. Those guys all got pardons from President Trump on his first evening in office. He pardoned all of them. So, but whatever. I love this new chapter of life for Ryan, whatever his name is, Nichols. I love this for him. I think it's going to be an amazing period, an opportunity for growth for him, and I'm anxiously looking forward to how quickly he's going to fuck it up and end up back in prison, because as his campaign manager described, he is insane. You know, it's these entitled MAGA white guys that are just the perfect example. They're the absolute perfect example of people on the right thinking that they should be protected by the law but not bound by the law. And they think that everybody else in the country who disagrees with them should be bound by the law and not protected by the law. You know, everybody else should not have a First Amendment right, should not have Fourth, Fifth, or Sixth Amendment rights, shouldn't have 13th, 14th Amendment rights, and, you know, shouldn't have any protections that the law has to offer. They should experience nothing from the law except brute force, physical abuse, and detention in prison. So it's you know, while they're supporting a president who still has 34 felony convictions on his record, Donald Trump is still a convicted felon. He is still a convicted felon. That's factually correct.